Hi friends, how are you guys? I've missed you this week. So today we are going to talk about Peter, who is one of Jesus' disciples. And we've studied Peter before. And I want you to think, can you remember any stories that we have heard about Peter? And I'm going to give you a couple clues. So we had one story in our boat stories. Do you remember the disciple that walked on water after Jesus? That was Peter. He had faith and he walked on water. But if you remember in that story, Peter, his faith wavered and he's like, oh my gosh, I'm walking on water. This is so crazy. And then he wasn't able to walk on the water because his faith wasn't as strong there at the end. Another place that we saw Peter, do you guys remember in the story the night before Jesus was crucified, how he told the apostles that one of them was going to betray him 3 times before the cock crows or before the rooster crows? And do you guys remember who that was? That was Peter too. So now we're at the point that it's after Easter, so Jesus has risen from the dead. He has come back amongst his followers. He's had them believe that he's not a ghost. So we're gonna be able to listen in today's reading on a conversation that Jesus had with Peter. And we're going to be hearing about it from Growing in God's Love, a Story Bible. And it's called Jesus Gives Peter a Job. After Jesus came back to life on Easter, he liked to spend time with his friends. One morning, after he made them breakfast on the lake shore, Jesus asked, "Simon Peter, do you love me?" Peter was surprised at Jesus' questions because he'd been friends with Jesus from the beginning. And here is a picture of Jesus and Simon Peter talking together. Now, I want you to remember, the last time we really heard about Peter is when he denied Jesus 3 times. So I want you to listen in this story. We've already heard one time Jesus says, "Simon Peter, do you love me?" So that's one time, guys. And Simon Peter says, "Yes, Jesus, I love you." Then Jesus tells him, "Feed my sheep, the people that I love," Jesus said to Simon Peter. And we've talked about this. We've talked about how Jesus is like a shepherd and we are his sheep. So we know what that means when Jesus says to Simon Peter, "Feed my sheep, the people I love." He's telling Simon Peter, feed us, feed the Christians, the people I love. Then Jesus asked a second time, guys, so we've got 2 times, "Simon Peter, do you love me?" "Yes, Jesus, I love you very much," Simon Peter answered. Jesus told him again, "Take care of my sheep, the people I love." Then Jesus asked him a 3rd time. 3 times, guys, 3 times. "Simon Peter, do you love me?" Now Peter was really wondering if Jesus had heard his answer. And he said, "My teacher, you know all about me. You know I love you and trust you." "Then feed my sheep," said Jesus, "the people that I love." So then here we have, you remember here's Simon Peter, and he's the one in the brown. And then you have Jesus in the white. And then right here, we have Simon Peter feeding Jesus' sheep. And he's feeding them the Word of God and teaching them about Jesus. And in fact, Jesus and Simon Peter had another conversation after this time when he asked 3 times. Jesus told Peter that he was his rock and on him he would build his church. And I think, guys, that Peter is a lot like a bunch of you. That while you may not do everything right the first time, or you may lose faith or lose focus, or you may do something that sometimes is disappointing to you or to your parents or your teachers, I see so much potential in you. Your mom and dad see so much potential in you. Jesus sees so much potential in you. And we are so excited to see what kind of grown-ups and teenagers you guys grow into someday. And, like Simon Peter, he made mistakes, and we saw he made mistakes, but he kept trying, and he kept working to make Jesus proud and make himself proud of his actions. So Jesus saw the potential in Simon Peter, because when he said, Simon Peter, feed my people, you are my rock, I'm going to build my church on you. Peter wasn't some leader. He wasn't a king. He wasn't, a rich man that had many staff. He was just a guy like you or like me. But Jesus saw that he had potential, he had a good heart, and he worked hard to make good and right choices. So this week, guys, I want you to think about when you're at home, even if you lose focus or you make a mistake, be like Peter. Because we all believe in you and we think you can do so good and so much good in this world. And, if you make a mistake, pick yourself up and think, I made a mistake. I'm sorry I did it. I'm not going to do it again. And keep working to be the good, awesome people that you are. And I will see you next week. And I hope you have a good week. Bye-bye.